Hey strangers. So it's been a minute. It's been a month actually. I think the last time I saw you, the nephews had just arrived and we were planning the trip to Maine. I'm pretty sure. I don't I don't remember. Anyway, the nephews' visit went well. They are adorable and love them, but I honestly have nothing really to say about it because it was seems like so long ago now. There was a lot of food. I remember there being a lot of food. Then we had to get ready for the Maine trip. Then the night before we left for the Maine trip, we had an Ashley McBryde concert to attend, and that was amazing. Ashley McBryde is my favorite country singer. I think she has the voice of an angel. She's so funny and she seems so personable. And in fact, the people that were sitting in front of us had they worked at a local restaurant and they had waited on her twice. And I was like, she's totally down to earth, and they're like, oh my god, she's the most amazing person. So anyway, great show. We had gotten seats in the balcony because I wasn't sure that general admission was what I was wanted to do, because I didn't know if they were going to be seats or if they were just going to be standing. There were seats, and it turned out you could just walk down there. So we got third row. It was amazing. She was fantastic, and I'm so glad we went. She puts on an amazing, just, can I say amazing a couple more times? Yes, I think I can. She puts on an amazing show, and I absolutely love her, and it was so great. My husband put up a picture. He had taken a picture of me with her behind me right after she had taken the stage, and he had captioned it, my new favorite picture of my wife. You can't fake a smile like that. She's so excited. It was great. It was so great. I'm so glad we went. We were exhausted the next day. I had to get up. I still worked out. I think I only did an hour. And then we went to work. We had to drop the dogs off at the vet. We went to work, and then we were only there until like noon, and then we went to my father-in-law's and he drove us to the airport, and then I think our flight took off around 4. It was on time. Then we went to Maine, and that was great. I mean, it wasn't great. It was for a memorial, so it was sad, but it was a lot of closure. I stayed with my best friend, the one that passed. I stayed with her son and her daughter, and I hadn't seen her son since he was very young, and it was great. It was really great to reconnect with them, and it was great. We stayed for 4 days with them. Then we moved on to Augusta for 2 days, and then we moved down to Portland for 2 days, and then we flew home. So it was a very exhausting trip. It was one of those trips where you just had to see a lot of people, and so trying to fit everybody in, it was like, we're used to Vegas trips where we just like do one thing a day and we just chill in the room or whatever. Yeah, it was a lot of go. And it was a lot of food. Like a lot. But I knew that going in any trip we take to Maine, we start the planning with where we're going to eat. So not who we're going to see, not what we're going to do, where we're going to eat. And we make the list, and that's where we choose to, who we're going to meet at what restaurant. Because there's so much great food that I grew up with that I can't get out here. And anyway, it was a lot of food. A lot of food. So let's bring that around to my weigh-ins. So the last time you saw me, which was I think a month ago, I had weighed in at 153. And that I think was a loss at that point. So I did weigh in the next week, and I weighed in at 152.4. So I had lost a half a pound that week. I also weighed in the next week, and I had stayed the same. So I maintained that week at 152.4. Then we went to Maine. So we flew out that Friday, so I didn't weigh in. And to be perfectly honest with you, I didn't count a single calorie the entire time we were gone. In fact, I treated it like, and I ate whatever I wanted. And the first 4 days, I didn't have any exercise. And unlike Vegas, when we go to Vegas, we walk everywhere. Not so much. It was rainy and drizzly, and it's just not. It's a lot of country. So there was not a whole lot of even non-official exercise. Like there was just nothing. Until we got to the hotel in Augusta, and then I had a treadmill that I could run on in the fitness center. But it was a lot of food. So when we got back on a Saturday, and the next morning I did weigh in, and I weighed in. It wasn't an official weigh-in, so I'm not counting it, but I did weigh in at 162.2. So in that week, I gained almost 10 pounds. That's a lot. Now, I know from experience in other vacations, when I eat out every single day for a week, a lot of that's water weight. That is true. So that's why I didn't make that in any kind of official weigh-in. I was just like, okay, I just want to get a gauge of where I'm at and immediately hop back in. So I immediately hopped back in and started dieting and exercising again all week long. And this morning, I weighed in at 154.4. So, from my last official weigh-in, I gained 2 pounds. And that's really okay with me. I know I had gained more than that, and I lost some this week, but I'm going by official weigh-in to official weigh-in, and I gained 2 pounds. So I'm pleased. I'm also pleased because that was a good benchmark for me. Like, to know that I can just go hog wild for a week as long as I hop back on and rein it in. These 2 pounds should be gone in a couple of weeks. And while that's not ideal, while I'm still wanting to keep losing, especially, you know, with the trip to England coming up, I can do it. I can do it. I can go on a little break and I can eat whatever the hell I want. And I did. Oh my God, did I eat. I ate so much. But as long as I can rein it back in, that's my biggest fear, is that I'm just going to go off, because that's what I've always done, is just take a break and then not be able to get back into it. And that's my MO. And then I end up gaining all my weight back. So this is telling me that I can. And honestly, it felt so good to get back to a structure, to just have my regimen, and my wake up and I work out, and then I have all my meals planned. It was good. But it showed me that I can do this. I can just go a little crazy once in a while, and it'll be okay. I just have to remember that I have to rein it back in, and I can do that. And so it was a learning. We'll call it a learning experience. But it was good. It was a good trip. It was a good trip. I saw so many people. I saw girls from high school that I haven't seen in 30 years, like literally since high school. And it fed my soul. It was like no time had gone by. It was great. I saw one of my ride or dies from when I was in my 20s, we were really close friends in high school. And then we reconnected, I think, in like when we turned 20 or 21, and we basically lived together. I was always over at her house constantly, and we were really, really close. And then we just fell out, and I moved away, and I hadn't seen her in probably like 15 years, and she wasn't able to make it to the memorial. She had to work, unfortunately. And so I was like, okay, we got to do this. What's your schedule? Tell me, I'll make it work. And so we were able to pop into her house for a couple of hours before we moved to Augusta to stay in the hotel. And it was great. I was so glad to see her, and it was funny because we have so many stories together, and we were just jogging down memory lane the entire time, and Rob was like sitting there watching us and telling, I mean, we were hellions. We were not innocent little angels. And we're telling the stories, you know, back and forth. We're just talking, remember that, remember that, remember that. And Rob's like looking at me like, I knew nothing about you when you were younger. And I was like, I blame her. It's all her fault. And she totally took the blame. And honestly, she was a very bad influence on me. But it was good. It was good. And I hope to keep in touch with these people, and it was good. Saw my relatives, saw my 98-year-old cousin who's doing amazing, saw her twice. And she did get COVID right before we got there. She had just gotten over it right before we got there. And so that has slowed her down a little bit, but honestly, she's sharp as a tack. She's amazing. It went from me saying, this is going to be the trip where I say goodbye to her, to saying, well, I'm going to have to go back in 2 years for her 100th birthday party. So, but it was good. It was good. A lot of food. Oh my God, so much food. Even when we go to Vegas, like, I'm able to kind of gauge and try and do maintenance calories. But there was just so much eating. Like, I normally I'll do, if we're out on vacation, I'll do like one big meal a day and then a couple of snacks here and there, and I'll try to be good about it. But there was at least 2 meals a day, and they were big meals, like big meals. Like, I was stuffed so much. There was only one day where Rob and I thought enough to like split a meal, and then we were like, oh my God, we don't feel miserable. Like, one day out of the entire 7 days we were there. It was, oh my God, so much food. But it was good. And we bought the plane tickets for England. We're going. It's non-refundable. I did get the COVID insurance just because we had a COVID scare at work right before we went to Maine, and I didn't get the COVID insurance for those tickets, and I was really, really scared that we were going to be out the money and I wasn't going to be able to go to the memorial. But anyway, it was scary to buy the tickets, but we've got the tickets. So now the only thing left that we've got to do is get hotels, or a hotel, but also, so, okay. So I don't know if I explained this to you guys, but when Rob and I were talking and I was trying to get him back on board, I was like, okay, well, here's the thing. We had bought the tickets for the Manchester show, and so we were going to plan that trip around a friend that had lived in Manchester. Well, unbeknownst to us, she had moved. So we were kind of like, oh, or he was kind of like, it's, you know, we don't know anybody there. It's not really touristy. It's just not going to be a good trip. And so I was like, okay, what if I could sell those tickets and get tickets to the London show, or one of the London shows, and we just move the trip to London, and then that's very touristy, and we can, you know, it'll be a much better trip. And he was on board for that, and I was like, okay. So I got the tickets for the London show, and still was able to get good VIP seats. And then we were talking about it, and he said, so would you want to see both shows? Like, not sell the tickets to the Manchester show and just take a train out one day for that show, and then also see the London show. And I was like, who are you asking? I mean, duh. Yes. Hello. This is, I bought tickets to a foreign country to see the band. Obviously, I would love to see them twice. That's a no-brainer. And so I was like, yeah. And immediate regret on his face. Like, he was like, I'm not advocating it. I'm just saying we could maybe make it work. So we're gonna make it work. I'm going to 2 shows, y'all. We're gonna go to the Manchester show first. So we had to rearrange our dates a little bit. So we did this before we bought the plane tickets. So we're gonna stay a couple days longer just because it's, you know, now we're in London. Now we've got all these things to do. And, you know, honestly, we're on a 10-hour, 11-hour flight. Let's make the most of the time that we're gonna have there. So we're gonna go to London, and then we'll take a train in to see the Manchester show. Then we'll come back to London, and then we'll, a couple days later, a couple of days before we leave, we'll see the London show at the Palladium. And I'm so excited. 2 shows. I'm so happy. I'd see them all if I could. I really would. But I can't afford that. Oh my God, that's so much money has been spent in the last 2 weeks. So much money. But worth it, hopefully. So 2 shows, and it is now summer music festival season right now. They have just started touring in Sweden and Norway, and I think they just did another gig in Sweden today. And so all the Instagram videos are coming out, and I was a little worried because they are getting up there in age, and I was like, well, maybe it's not going to be the same show that I saw in 2004. I know that, but they still look good. Like, I was watching the videos today and yesterday, and I'm like, they still got it. It's going to be so great. Can you tell that I'm happy? So that's our next trip. October. And I'd like to lose about 15 or 20 more pounds before I go. If I don't, I'm not going to be heartbroken about it, but I'd like to. You know, the funny thing about gaining that 10 pounds while I was in Maine is that the smaller you are, the quicker it shows up. Like, I'm used to being heavy, and you can gain 10 pounds and not see it, like, at all. You can lose 10 pounds and not see it at all either. But I gained that 10 pounds, and I was like, oh my God, like, my pants were tight. My belly was sticking out. It was a thing. I'm not a fan. But anyway, I don't know why I went there. But so this has been all over the place, and I'm sorry, but I was trying to get this done and knocked out. Rob's gone to his dad's tonight, so I have the night to myself, which is good because we have been together 24/7 for the last week and a half. And I love my husband. I love him very much, but I need a little me time. And today is my me time, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm gonna stop here so I can go enjoy my me time. If you've enjoyed any part of this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already, if you want to. And I will see you guys next time.